Hello. Good evening to all of you. And this is your one and only Derpo speaking. And of course, we're back on Mapping 101 Thursdays. Of course, it's been a month ago since there's a hiatus due to holiday break. Might as well that there's an ongoing examination that would prevent me from doing such live stream experiences. And of course, we would rather have some sort of Mapping 101 live session. And by the way, if you're experiencing some sort of signal disruption, I might have to switch once again to StreamYard. And so hopefully this should have no signal interruptions. If you can hear me or not, kindly comment down below. Of course, things should might have because of the some sort of technical enhancements that we have to go through, but hopefully there would be no dead ears here. And in that case, I might have to switch it over to StreamYard because we're having some sort of technical difficulties. Connection might not be good at this moment. We're trying to reconnect, but this would not be possible. Oh my goodness, there's something odd here. And so we will be back shortly, and I'll be right back with you.
This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised. This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Of course, good evening. Good evening to all of us. Apologies for technical difficulties that we have experienced here. But of course, welcome back to Mapping 101 Thursdays. Of course, we would be having some sort of live mapping session here. And for the redundancy measures, we would be having to do some sort of mirrored feed which is powered by StreamYard. But it's difficult to do some sort of, you know, doing the production and at the same time, oh my goodness me. That's too hard to do some sort of technicals and even the, you know, technicals and even the production at the same time. But moreover, there would be a better way to manage this one. And so without further ado, let's begin this Mapping 101 journey. Say for example, we have Dasma City here on the map courtesy of Maxar Technologies. And by the way, Philippine Standard Time, it's now 1916 already. But of course, there must have a good connection at all times. Well, it's live and online. Hopefully, there would be no technical issues here. And as such, you're still watching DP24 GTV. I would love to show it to you the whole open street map on the whole window or the full screen. Let me have some sort of preview first. Of course, before that, here's the story behind this Mapping 101 Thursdays, whereas I got inspired by the, you know, by this whole WeMap session during the ECQ days. Me and Gowin and even the MAPI community here. And right now, I have to devise the replacement program that is supposedly be the replacement for the Wednesdays, but I have to decide that it has to be done every Thursday. That's the mapping 101 Thursdays that have come up here. And more so that we have to, you know, map all of these things out. And there's ongoing discussion within the inside um, ethical questions that seem to be questionable for some. But if I would advise you all, your attention please, even if it's on the ground, but you know that it is illegal, do not map it out. We have to do some sort of regulation. We have to be responsible, as Brother David Garcia have mentioned here. We have to be more responsible enough about the information that's more of geographic information. We have to be more responsible. We have to undergo the legal process. And so, sadly, that we have to, you know what? I would prefer using this Java OpenStreetMap editor here. Let me try to switch into the browser window. And of course, still courtesy of Maxar Technologies. And by the way, I'll be going to play some sort of the background music. Special thanks to Joaquin Carod. So why not try to make it easier for us to map everything that is needed, not only for the existence sake, which is in the on the ground or reality rather, but also we have to consider the legality of those maps here. And so we will show it to you what's inside this mapping 101 that is being contributed. And for the reminder, the whole mapping 101 Thursdays Live is hereby copyrighted. Of course, we have to make it okay for all of us. And so, oops, we would be having to undergo some sort of mapping 101 Thursday's journey once again since I have been back. Today is 21st January 2021. Assalamualaikum to all our dear Muslims. It's 8 Jumada to 1442 A8 if you're using the Hijra calendar. And of course, we have to take a look at this mapping 101 behind us while I'm on the break. You know what? It's blurry at first, but because we are going to be determined, we have to undergo some sort of loading here, but it might take it longer. Hopefully this would not cause any sort of technical issues. It's 19:25 Philippine Standard Time and it's now loading already. Metro Manila Skyway Stage 3 is already mapped as it should. And behind the scenes here is that those mappers that are deemed a beginner or a start-up, you know what? Let me refresh this page because it seems that there's a technical error here. I'm not so sure why this happens. Oh my goodness me. There's a technical error here. Let me switch it back to the OpenStreetMap window. And so we are going to try our best to reload this OpenStreetMap. Maybe we should relocate it to the LAN next time because Wi-Fi could not be stable enough to give us some sort of power to do live streams. Let me check out first the status of the live stream before we do some sort of audits. And so for those who are or wait, for those who are using the StreamYard, I do appreciate a lot that we have to mirror these things out. Oh my goodness. we have to make sure that we could revert into StreamYard next time because of the unstable internet connection that we are experiencing right now. But hopefully so, no major technical issues that we're going to experience. But let me go back to the OpenStreetMap window. Yes, of course, as you can see on the screen, the whole Metro Manila Skyway Stage 3 has been opened last time. And of course, we would rather have some sort of provincial bus route review, whereas we would rather have to do some sort of mapping 101 related cleanup and stuff. But let's start from the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, heading southwards to Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Quezon, and even Bicol, if it's allowed by the LGU. So for those who have any plans to visit Bicol region, I'm so sorry to say this, but it's not yet available for Bicol bound buses. And for those who are heading to southwards, especially if it's either Visayas or Panay, rather, Panay, Negros, Cebu, Bohol, Samar, Leyte Islands, you might have to take City Bus 34 towards the SRITT, the Santa Rosa Integrated Transport Terminal. Without further ado, let's have to begin this review of the provincial bus routes. And so we have a Java OpenStreetMap editor opened. And let's review these bus routes that are deemed to be remapped. Given by these lines or wireframe view and the other views that might be available based on the plugins that are hereby disclosed. So let me select this one. Of course, it's saved automatically every minute just to make sure that there would be no disruption. And there are too many bus routes here. It's almost 90 plus. And that even includes this, what we call this, the modern Jeep and even traditional Jeep, UV Express. Of course, for the full review sake, I have to switch the camera placement. And there you go. Upon their view, there are so many routes here. Vehicle-based routing still not yet available. The arrival. Oh my goodness me. There's something odd here. Let me highlight this one. I'll switch off the Maxar imagery. As you can see the white one. And if you're using a black version, then it might be very difficult for you to see everything. The LTV company still awaiting for the decision to resume most of the bus routes, but for now, still very limited in most cases. For Cavite, Batangas, still okay. BSC San Agustin, still okay. But if in case of the review that needs huge time of editing effort, then I might have to do some sort of another review. And might as well that we have to do some sort of let me say there's a need for a professionals we have to be responsible enough not to map all of those out of line routes that are deemed illegal and may cause a lawsuit. Let me check this one. Of course, we don't have still the city bus for General Trias. Hopefully, this will be make it possible to happen as we are slowly something like, you know, we have to be very considerate about the needs of the commuter as well. LTFRB is working right now in order to make those provincial P2P bus routes possible as the entire premium P2P bus routes to and from Metro Manila and destinations have fully utilized. Bicol region, Ilocos region, still on the restricted mode. And expect most of the checkpoints that are being headed towards any motorist trying to enter into restricted regions. If you don't have any required documentation, I'm sorry, but you have denied entry already. This one is a building under construction. If I have pressed this one it's restrict the rest of the portion of the expressway that I have highlighted is survey restricted to point-to-point buses only. Bravo Mike is even here. City buses 24 and even 26 up to 30 have mapped. Hopefully, if the whole Cavite Laguna Expressway goes live, then the southbound would be more like be diverted to this route also. And mind you guys that if you're going to use the PICC as the end destination, then you have to use the expressway straight as much as possible. And all provincial buses that goes beyond PICC or SRITT for Visayas and Mindanao will be apprehended immediately. And for the north, especially if you're coming from the select Region 3 commuter routes, Santil, Araneta City. Moreover, we could have to map these things as responsible as should be. Let me try to zoom into Santa Rosa Integrated Transport Terminal as much as possible. But due to technical limitations, it might be a cause of concern. That's error downloading tile. But thank you so very much for allowing me to do a comeback episode of this Mapping 101 Thursdays. Maybe I'll do a pre-recorded edition that I might have to do some sort of mapping one-on-one test days or switch as well to StreamYard in order to avoid some sort of technical issues. And if you have any sort of suggestions here, mind as well that we could have some sort of bus route from Naik all the way to Santa Rosa Integrated Transport Terminal that is meant to be for the west or east-west route. And so we would switch once again. And there you go. If this one, Santa Rosa Integrated Transport Terminal, which is closest to SM Santa Rosa, then there must have another city bus route that would ferry from western part of Cavite to the eastern part of Laguna as well. Or western part of Laguna rather, which is the Santa Rosa Integrated Transport Terminal. By the way, if you're aware about this situation, that one of my classmates is living closest to SM Santa Rosa, maybe I should take another round of the provincial bus route review. And so we have to do some sort of right things to map. And so without further ado, let's switch back into the Java OpenStreetMap editor rather. And to avoid some sort of technical errors that I might be experiencing, I'll have the recording as well here on DP24 base for the sake of the redundancy measures. This one, city buses 33 and 34 are present here. And of course, if you're coming from SRITT, Santa Rosa Integrated Transport Terminal, then the destination should be either Visayas or Mindanao. And to avoid some sort of erratic edits here, me and one of my collaborator, Sir Jerome, aka Taga San Pedro, have collaborated on splitting those route relation into Luzon leg or Panay leg or Eastern Visayas leg and then Mindanao leg. Otherwise, it would be a summer leg if the end destination is at either Samar province or Eastern Samar province or Northern Samar province. But unfortunately, Borongan City in Eastern Samar is under modified enhanced community quarantine. And so, we couldn't allow us to map everything. Of course, special thanks to OpenStreetMap Philippines, Maxar Technologies, Mental Health Awareness Philippines, and also to Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of Transportation, Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board, and the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority for these wonderful traffic regulations that would prevent catastrophic jam in the metro. Some buses have Bicol routes here, and even the Quezon. Apart from the Visayas and Mindanao, there's a city bus 33 and 34 operated by the Mega Manila Consortium Corporation. And there we go. For the next episode, maybe we could have to plug this one. Remapping or routing addendum catch up. Next week we would have a mapping 101 session, especially if you're going to map the public transport. I tell you guys that mapping 101 Thursdays would be a most wonderful programming ever here, not only in the Philippines but across the globe. And there's a fix-ins that might be, going to. Might as well that we have to do some sort of another episode next week that would be dedicated for bus and modern jeepney routing addendum catch up, because there are so many authorized routes that gone missing, wherein it has to be mapped as it should. Perhaps we could have some sort of mapping 101 session. And always remember, to all of us, dear mappers, that there is still a responsibility on what we should be done. And humanitarian OpenStreetMap team, Mental Health Awareness Philippines have given us the awareness and decision to be some sort of sensory friendly setup, since we are also observing the National Autism Consciousness Week. Tomorrow on DP24 in Focus live session, it would be more like of the stories behind this DP in Focus podcast that is being originally called, but because we have DP24 Radio, DP24 in Focus podcast programming have gone into, carryover status for DP24 radio programming. And might as well that on the next DP on Reflections, it would be more like of the reflection that I have done for the last 5 days from Mondays to Fridays. And of course, because of the, because I have forgot to buy a data key. Of course, I'll be resorting into reduced portions, but moreover, prayers for the country due to COVID-19 in the form of Orasio Imperata will be continued as usual. And by the way, before I let you go, let me have to zoom this out. Hopefully this whole OpenStreetMap have loaded properly. But due to technical issues that I have experienced, let me go back to Tasmania City. As you can see, Tasmania City's been progressing. This PCU Dasma Link Road is about to be completed. The extension for Congressional Avenue has been waiting for another construction. There's another roadway waiting for construction as well. And I have realized that because of the huge progress, then there's a problem lies ahead of us, especially the unwarranted congestion of bus routes that we should avoid for, and why there's still a provincial bus routes that are still transiting into the stretch of the Highway 419, also known as the Second Radial Road and General Emilio Aguinaldo Highway, originally a Cavite-Batangas road that, you know what, provincial buses should keep off those routes that has a city bus route. And they have to route it somewhere else. And if this one, while we're awaiting for the Silang segment from this highway all the way to Santa Rosa City Interchange, Dasma City would suffer the congestion as well, as if there are provincial buses that are still mixing up with the city bus routes where they shouldn't be. Take this for instance. There's a city bus route 29 from General Mariano Alvarez to PICC via Baco or Dasma National Road. There's even a city bus 28 from Dasmariñas City. It's either starting at the southern boundary of Dasmariñas City all the way to Parañaque ITX or PICC. And here's one big revelation that I have discovered the flaw in which City Bus 27 Delta that is bunching up with City Bus 28 and the LTFRB only allows from Trece Martes City all the way to PICC via Tansa and not via Dasma. Oh my goodness me. Such bunching could further aggravate the congestion that is being experienced in Padapala. So I warn you guys, for those who are supposedly be at the City Bus 27 that is via Tansa, then you should focus more on the residents from Trece Martes City all the way to Tansa. Oh my goodness me. Why they didn't observe the correct routing load known as EDSA, Echo Delta Sierra Alpha. And if you're still observing the closed door policy for all modern jeepneys and city buses, And if you're wondering on what could it be this setup, I have this mobile phone here serving as a secondary camera, and this one is the camera that is being built in. And of course, we could have a better way to serve the community. Might as well that we have to consider the people with disabilities or people with special needs. And so we have to conclude this Mapping 101 Thursdays, and I apologize for technical errors that we have encountered. And so, thank you so very much for watching DP24 in Focus live session. This has been your dear Paul. Good night, everyone. Always make sure to be safe, be well, stay sane and dry. And as always, you are loved. God bless us all, and I love you.